Snoop. You may be seated. Courtroom chaos, chaos, chaos. Snoop Dogg's courtroom chaos, chaos, chaos.
What?
Push and shove and they nudge you. Call you out and they judge you. Filed a case and it bugs you. Now you're sitting in front of Judge Snoop. Came in as the plaintiff, no witness for the defendant. Smiling and you grinning, cause this case you think you winning. Courtroom chaos, chaos, chaos. Snoop Dogg's courtroom chaos, chaos, chaos. Objection. Overruled. All rise for the Honorable Judge Snoop. You may be seated. Courtroom chaos, chaos, chaos. Snoop Dogg's courtroom chaos, chaos, chaos.
What?
Push and shove and they nudge you. Call you out and they judge you. Filed a case and it bugs you.
Welcome to Courtroom Chaos, featuring Judge Snoop Dogg, the Dogfather himself. We're building the case on the spot, so you can use the most ridiculous arguments to make sense of it. Plaintiff and defendant, grab your phones and tell the court what makes you special, or all warm and fuzzy on the inside. We'll tailor a completely original trial, made just for you.
Welcome to my court, Judge Snoop presiding. Today, we're gonna lay it out, keep it fly, and pass out that justice. Hope you're ready. Let's get the case going. Now here's the part where your Uncle Snoop lays down a funky scenario. Each one of a kind based on that fly info you just shared about yourself. All right, listen up. Robert here collects rare anime memorabilia and invites Dominic to an expensive dinner downtown to discuss a potential trade deal. Dominic shows up, orders the most expensive items on the menu, then disappears when the check arrives. Robert's stuck with a $200,000 bill. That's cold. Let's hear what both of y'all got to say about this. The facts have been heard, the table's been set, and now it's your turn to serve up your best. Let's hear them. To educate you on the courtroom's OG, OP weapon, the objection. You get one per team, and you can use it to swing the scales of justice if you point out what's whack in the other team's narrative. A little advice on that secret goal on your screen there. Blend it in with your testimony, and you'll earn extra cred with yours truly up here. All right, Robert, lay it down for me, my G. What's your case about this $200,000 dinner situation? Yo, hold up. All you can eat swamps? Robert, my G, that ain't even a real menu item. You gotta come stronger than that if you want me to take this seriously. Let's hear what actually went down at this dinner. All right, Dominic, let's hear your side of this story. What's your defense to this $200,000 dinner situation? Sounds like spitting bars, but there's no hook. Get back on the stand and make it all no diggity, no doubt. Hold up, nephew. You said you had a nosebleed and had to bounce. but Robert's saying you ordered the most expensive items first. So when exactly did this nosebleed situation happen? Before or after you were deep in that menu? Look, Dominic, that timeline ain't adding up smooth for you. You saw the menu, then saw some anime pictures, and suddenly your nose became a fountain? That story leaking harder than your credibility right now. You're digging yourself deeper, nephew. Robert's looking real good on this one. Yo, Robert, hold up. So nephew ordered the whole menu like he was running a buffet line. But real talk, what was going through your head when dudes started stacking plates? You feeling played from jump? Or did it hit different when the check came around? Hold up, nephew. That ain't it. You invited homeboy to discuss a trade deal, not whatever that was supposed to be. That story don't add up, and it ain't helping your case none. Let's keep it straight and real here. All right, Dominic, nephew, I need you to paint me a picture with your words. Tell the court artist exactly what went down at that restaurant from your angle. What were you doing when that bill showed up? Let's hear your side of this story, my G. Just a slice of guidance from Uncle Snoop here. As an eyewitness, for best results with our forensic artist, you'll have to dish out that scene. Just as if you were looking at it. My homie doing this and that when that happened. Keep it real. A tale so vivid, our illustrators have their hands full. I'll have to reflect on whether what I just heard was genius or a cry for help. Not what we're here for today. Let's keep it focused on your case. All right, we heading into closing statements. That's where the real talk happens. Robert, bring it home for me. Lay out why Dominic played you and remind this courtroom what went down at that dinner table. Strong words, plaintiff, and a worthy closer. Just remember, the game's not over until the last word is spoken. Look, Robert, that's what I'm talking about. You're claiming those figurines were yours the whole time, which means Dominic saw them and still ran up that astronomical tab before bouncing. That's the real story right there. Game recognizes game. All right, Dominic, you got one shot to tell me why that $200,000 tab ain't on you, nephew. Defendant, you said your piece, and I respect that. Now, to everyone in this courtroom, you kept it cool, you kept it real, and you kept it Snoop's court. And with that, I'm about to make my move. Look, nephew, a nosebleed don't pay a $200,000 tab. You ordered the expensive items, you left Robert holding the bag. That excuse ain't holding up in my courtroom. Real talk. You gotta own what you about did. Okay, folks. I've seen some wild cases, but this one took me on a ride I wasn't expecting. I've heard things today that I might still be thinking about a week from now. And not because they were crystal clear. Still, that's the game we playing here, and now it's my turn to decide how this story ends. All right, listen up. I've heard both sides, and here's what's real. Dominic, you ordered expensive items knowing you were there to discuss a trade. A nosebleed don't erase that responsibility. You ate, you dipped, Robert got stuck with the bill. That ain't how you conduct business, nephew. Robert, you got played. But Dominic's story don't hold up under pressure. Verdict goes to Dominic on a technicality. Your case had some holes, too. All right, Robert, you got caught slipping on this one. Dominic walks free, no damages owed. But here's your sentence. Every time someone mentions a fair deal, a business transaction, or anything about honor in a trade, you're doing the chicken dance right here in this courtroom. Consider it a reminder to vet your dinner guests before you pick up that check. My G, gavel down. Case concluded.
All rise for the Honorable Judge Snoop. You may be seated. Courtroom chaos, chaos, chaos. Snoop Dogg's courtroom chaos, chaos, chaos. What? Push and shove and they nudge you. Call you out and they judge you. Filed a case and it bugged you. Now you're sitting in front of Judge Snoop. Came in as the plaintiff. No witness for the... All rise for the Honorable Judge Snoop. You may be seated. Courtroom chaos, chaos, chaos. Snoop Dogg's courtroom chaos, chaos, chaos. What? Push and shove and they nudge you. Call you out and they judge you. Filed a case and it bugged you. Now you're sitting in front of Judge Snoop. Came in as the plaintiff. No witness for the defendant. Smiling and you grinning, cause this case you think you winning. Courtroom chaos, chaos, chaos. Snoop Dogg's courtroom chaos, chaos, chaos. Objection. Overruled. All rise for the Honorable Judge Snoop. You may be seated. Courtroom chaos, chaos, chaos. Snoop Dogg's courtroom chaos. Push and shove and they nudge you. Call you out and they judge you. Filed a case and it bugs you. Now you're sitting in front of Judge Snoop. Came in as the plaintiff, no witness for the defendant. Smiling and you grinning, cause this case you think you winning. Courtroom chaos. Snoop Dogg's courtroom chaos. Objection. Overruled. All rise for the Honorable Judge Snoop. You may be seated. Courtroom chaos. Snoop Dogg's courtroom chaos. What? Push and shove and they nudge you. Call you out and they judge you. Filed a case and it bugs you. Now you're sitting in front of Judge Snoop. Came in as the plaintiff, no witness for the defendant. Smiling and you grinning, cause this case you think you winning. Courtroom chaos. Snoop Dogg's courtroom chaos. Objection. Overruled. All rise for the Honorable Judge Snoop. You may be seated. Courtroom chaos. Snoop Dogg's courtroom chaos. What? Push and shove and they nudge you. Call you out and they judge you. Filed a case and it bugs you. Now you're sitting in front of Judge Snoop. Came in as the plaintiff, no witness for the defendant. Smiling and you grinning, cause this case you think you winning. Courtroom chaos. Snoop Dogg's courtroom chaos. Objection. Overruled. All rise for the Honorable Judge Snoop. You may be seated.
Welcome to Courtroom Chaos, featuring Judge Snoop Dogg, the Dogfather himself. We're building the case on the spot, so you can use the most ridiculous arguments to make sense of it. Plaintiff and defendant, grab your phones and tell the court what makes you special, or all warm and fuzzy on the inside. We'll tailor a completely original trial, made just for you.
Welcome to Courtroom Chaos, nephews and nieces. Yours truly, Uncle Snoop's presiding. Keep it real, share your story, and we'll get this party rolling right. All right, listen up. Dominic rolled up to the Enchanted Gym with his lucky spell book, ready to cast some fitness magic while breaking in those funky used shoes. Taylor was chewing gum so loud it echoed off the lockers, then swapped Dominic's spellbook pages for bean toast recipes. Now Dominic spells only summon dinner, and he's demanding $2.6 million to restore his magical credibility, you dig? All right, fam, we got the setup. Now it's your turn to shine. Let's kick it off with opening statements. All right, Dominic, let's hear it. What's this case really about, nephew? Lay out your whole situation for me. That is a lot to get my pretty head around. I think I might need more insight from you. Hold up, nephew. You said you took off them sweaty socks and used shoes before casting a spell, right? So what I'm hearing is, Taylor caught you slipping right at your most vulnerable moment. How many seconds of exposure we talking before they made the swap? Hold up, nephew. 10 seconds from shoe off to spell cast? That's tight timing. But you saying Taylor told you to bounce right after? That sounds like Taylor knew exactly what they did was wrong. That ain't helping your case look accidental, you dig? All right, Taylor, let's hear your side of this spellbook swap situation. What's your defense on these bean toast allegations, you dig? Yo, Taylor, that's about as substantial as empty air, nephew. You love beans and gum? That's nice, real nice. But loving something don't explain why you swapped the spell book for recipes in 10 seconds flat. You gotta come harder than that, for real. Yo, Dominic, nephew, let me ask you this. When you peeled off those gym shoes and saw your spell book gone, what was running through your head? Were you heated in the moment, or did it sink in later? Help me understand what this really cost you, you dig? All right, nephew, now that's what I'm talking about. You went from confused to covered in beans. That's a concrete consequence right there. Bean shower testimony hits different. That's the kind of detail that matters, you dig? All right, Taylor, let's get real for a second. I need you to paint me a picture with your words right now. Walk me through exactly what went down when you swapped those spellbook pages. What were you thinking? And how did that whole thing go down? Give it to me straight, nephew. An unexpected turn in this trial. While we illustrate the scene, I'll be over here laid back. Look, nephew, that exhibit right there just showed me Taylor was thinking about your midsection instead of explaining why they swapped your spell book for bean recipes. That ain't a defense, my G. That's just disrespectful mind games. The court artist captured pure distraction, and it ain't helping your case one bit. We heading into closing statements right now, nephew. Dominic, lay it down for me. Tie together everything you've been saying about them swapped pages and how Taylor messed with your magical operation, you dig? Well now, that was smoother than I expected. I think I know which way my gavel's leaning. Look, nephew, I hear you, confused, scared, covered in beans. That's real emotion right there. But feeling bad about what happened ain't the same as proving Taylor did it on purpose. You gave me the experience, but the why is still foggy, you dig? All right, Taylor, you got one shot to tell me why swapping them spellbook pages ain't the move. So let's hear it. Whoa, that was bolder than I expected. I'll admit, it made me think, but I'm still leaning the same way I was before. Yo, hold up. That's not a defense, nephew. That's a distraction. You swapped the pages, the beans spilled, and now you're talking about belly jokes? That ain't addressing nothing. Case closed in my mind. All right, family, we've been through the highs, the lows, and a few tracks nobody saw coming. Both sides came in swinging like they're headlining a pay-per-view. Now Judge Snoop's about to drop the final cut, the verdict, and see who's walking out a winner today. All right, here's how I see it. Dominic brought the heat with solid testimony about what went down. The quick swap, the beans, the whole situation. Taylor came in with distractions and deflections, never really addressing the core issue. Nephew showed intent, timing, and consequence. That's enough for me. Dominic proved his case better than Taylor defended against it. Justice served. All right, Taylor, you lost this one, and now you gotta face the music. Every time somebody calls your name, you're gonna let out a dramatic sigh and say, "Woe is me." That's your life now, my G. Plus, you're cutting Dominic a check for $2.6 million to restore his magical credibility. That's what happens when you mess with somebody's spell book. Gavels down, court's adjourned.
All rise for the Honorable Judge Snoop. You may be seated. Courtroom chaos, chaos, chaos. Snoop Dogg's. All rise for the Honorable Judge Snoop. You may be seated. Courtroom chaos, chaos, chaos. Snoop Dogg's courtroom chaos, chaos, chaos. What? Push and shove and they nudge you. Call you out and they judge you. Filed a case and it bugs you. Now you're sitting in front of Judge Snoop. Came in as the plaintiff, no witness for the defendant. Smiling and you grinning, cause this case you think you winning. Courtroom chaos, chaos, chaos.